What's going on, Cancer? And welcome to the Chariot Friends. Justin here, and I hope you're feeling wonderful today. Especially if it's your birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday. I'm gonna have to get confetti here in a minute, Cancer. But for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just incredible, Cancer. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. In Cancer, I feel like we're like almost on countdown for this for our birthday season. So it's just like let's just take this time and really make sure that if we haven't had a chance to treat yourself, Cancer, treat yourself, whatever that's looking like. You know, it's never too late to, even if your birthday's passed and we still haven't really lived it up how you want to. I'm still trying to go to this one place I've been meaning to go to for a minute, Cancer. So live it up. But with this channel, this is for those of you who have Cancer in your placement. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, wherever, Cancer. This one's for you. And I do tarot card spreads based off our ruler here, the good old Moon. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going void of course, just all of those lunar shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force a reading on a situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. There's a great energy all around here, Cancer. In Cancer, the moon is going void of course today. The moon's going to be going void of course at about, thank you, about 9:23 in the evening, and that's going to be Eastern time. And she will be moving from Taurus into Gemini tomorrow, Thursday, the 13th, and we'll be entering at about 3:25 in the morning. So we're looking at about a 6-hour, 2-minute void of course there, Cancer. And with the void of course energy, it's a great time for doing some meditation, just kind of recollecting yourself, you know, just making sure that everything's just running smoothly, Cancer, that we, especially if we've been feeling like maybe extra emotional as of late, or maybe have one particular one that's been kind of been like the theme for a while, just a great time to check in and really kind of bring yourself back to center, Cancer. And you also may notice with this energy that people, that your plans may be subject to unexpected changes, and that people are maybe less likely to make decisions during this time. So just something to pay attention to as well, Cancer. And then with the moon being in Taurus, you know what better way than to appreciate this void of course time than to tap into that Taurus energy, you know, do some things that are pleasing to the senses. Taurus, one of their aspects is that they embody the 5 senses, really have a cute 5 senses. So, you know, maybe doing some things as far as like taking yourself a bubble bath, or maybe even in the evening, Cancer, maybe putting some essential oils on your pillow, get you a nice relax, and maybe some lavender or something like that, Cancer. So, you know, just any little extra things to just really kind of treat yourself and get you into a zen place. I might have mentioned this. I've been starting to, before the readings, I've been putting on these little like essential oils like right on the collar, just to kind of, you know, as I'm going through things, to just like, that's every now and again that smells just like, okay, where are we at on this reading, you know? So it's just a nice little, just kind of like brings you back present, Cancer. And that's another thing too, I feel like Taurus energy embodies very well, as far as like just being that presence, or being in the present moment, considering that they're considered the slowest sign of the zodiac. And I don't feel like that's a bad thing. You know, really take in your surroundings, Cancer. Appreciate all the finer things, and even just all the things that you have in your life. But there's also a great energy too, you know, if we've been thinking about maybe getting like bills or finances, things in order. Taurus is really good with money, so, you know, being Venus rule, she deals with finances and stuff. So absolutely, Cancer, go ahead and make that coin, get your money working for you. But also, Cancer, we're in a waning crescent phase, or a balsamic moon, and with this phase, you know, this is kind of like, we're at this place now where it's just kind of like really in like the sort of like the rest and relaxing and the like recuperating aspect of the phases. There's been a lot, you know, these going up from the new moon up into this point, and it's nice to just kind of take a breather, you know, kind of do some self-care, treat yourself with some compassion, kind of reconnect with yourself, do some really just some deep meditation here, Cancer, and figure out what it is that we want to focus on maybe this next lunar cycle, and how this previous one really kind of affected us, and how we're feeling about this stuff. So very great energy here, Cancer. And I like that. This too. This is associated with the Hermit here. They say on this phase. So that's something too, Cancer. Just something to think about. But last few things, Cancer. These readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations. And then the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description. Oh, crap, and I keep forgetting about this other one I need to include. But I've included all the other ones down in the description box as well, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also down below are some links for some other readers that I like watching, Cancer, so definitely check them out. Very intuitive group. It's just nice to kind of switch things up every now and again, Cancer, kind of see where the energies are at, see how the others kind of approach their reading. So go show them some love. But let's get to your general energy of the day here, Cancer, which Cancer, you are on a roll with this thinking of one of Venus's signs here. Didn't we do that late yesterday too, Cancer? I don't remember if we had one of Libra's cards. But you got the third card of Libra's here, which is the Cabin card. Cabin card. And with this card, Cancer, this is a card of lonely, confined, detached, remote, secluded, go within, insulate, disengage, close off, kept apart, quarantine, island, segregate, separated, divide, disconnected, and sequestered. And interesting, Cancer, I feel like there is a need to, clearly with all this like void of course, waning crescent energy, it does feel like there's a lot of energy of going within, but I feel like that the thing that was popping out here, Cancer, was the divide. And I'm not sure if it's something where maybe for some we may be in the state of where we're having like a personal divide, possibly. Maybe there's some, there feels like maybe there are some conflicting views maybe that we might be working with, or maybe like a new type of mindset that I'm not sure, Cancer, that we might be kind of trying to integrate, or really trying to understand, or maybe see where there is, maybe even for some others there may have been, I don't want to say necessarily a disagreement, but maybe something along those lines, and we're just trying to find where this disconnect possibly happened. Maybe things didn't quite go so well, and we're in this state of just kind of replaying that conversation in our head, or maybe even this could even be where if we had started, like, I don't know, let's say like a new job, for example, and we had this whole expectation of what things were going to be, and then we get to this place, and it's like what you saw on paper is nothing like you saw, and once you get in the environment, it's like, and it feels like there's really, just kind of this separation, or this wanting to be able to integrate, but it's just not working. And I feel like that's saying a lot for, Cancer, if you're noticing that disconnect, because I feel like that's saying a lot for a Cancerian, because I feel like ours is a sign that is very adaptable, where sure we're a sign of the home, and that security, that foundation and stuff, but I feel like a Cancerian can pretty much, wherever we happen to put our feet down, we can make home. And so if we're really having troubles kind of getting into a place, or really finding a way to integrate your energies, or something along those lines, we may need to take a step back and kind of disengage for a second, and figure out why there is that disconnect, and then what's going to be the next game plan, Cancer. And I know, for example, if this is like a job, I know that can be kind of a pain to go from one thing to another. And it doesn't feel like that we're hopping around per se, but we do have to keep in mind that, like, if we try to force ourselves into doing something that doesn't bring us peace and bring us balance and harmony, that's going to affect you over time, Cancer. And just something to kind of think about there, if we're just having, because this could even be like even like if like this is like a relationship, and maybe we're noticing that there's maybe even been some type of, maybe feels like even things are starting to, I don't know, there's like a separation here. It's very, very interesting here, Cancer. But I also feel one more thing before we kind of get into the tarot. There is this energy of maybe for some that we've maybe been kind of sequestered for a while, and maybe kind of staying in hermit mode for whatever reason. And it's not that I feel that we feel lonely, Cancer, because I do, because listen, I got some 12th house placements, and I love my as gregarious as I can be, I do love my quiet time. But I feel like that this is for some, like maybe we've been kind of, maybe there's like either like a social anxiety or something along those lines. It's like we want to be alone, but just like want to be around people as well. And I feel like that if we've been kind of feeling that sense, a great place to start Cancer would be maybe just like going out to like a festival or something. Yeah, and if we don't, either like maybe some kind of community event, maybe even like a movie, something along those lines. If we're having troubles, maybe kind of getting back out there, just in general, Cancer, maybe making connections and talking with people, just giving it a try, just maybe finding different things that you like, and maybe just kind of seeing what's happening here, Cancer. But let's get some tarot on this and get some details. Oh, there we are, Cancer. I love it. Good old Chariot. All right, Cancer. Let's see what we got here. All right, so we got the Five of Pentacles, the Chariot, the Queen of Pentacles, and Cancer still syncing up with the energies, and then here's Taurus here, and I love that, Cancer. And you know what? I do feel like for some, because when I talk about especially when we get into like the Moon and Taurus here, Cancer, Taurus and Cancer really do have a really tight relationship. I feel like we share a lot of that sense of that need for security. That we do share a lot in common, and I feel like that if we've been feeling for some, we've been feeling alone or just been feeling kind of out and about, or not out and about, but feeling they're just kind of. Maybe even for some, we're feeling like kind of excluded from a current, or from like maybe like a group we used to hang out with, and now it's just like we're not sure how to what's it like getting out there, maybe making new friends, or maybe we've moved to a new place and it's just like we're trying to. It just feels like that we're just trying to get this sense of, instead of going from a state of being separate, it's like a sense, like trying to form a sense of oneness here, Cancer. And again, I feel like this could be something where, because the Hierophant can be like a card of connections for me, can like one, mainly like connecting with like the divine and things, and that's something we'll talk about in a second, Cancer. But this feels like for some, it's just like going out there and finding ways to make a connection with, if we've been wanting to do that with others, whether this be maybe going to like a meditation group, Cancer, maybe you want to join a biker gang, Cancer, that'd be sick, because I've heard they got a really cool, really strong sense of community there too, Cancer. It's not getting any kind of trouble, not doing any sort of like, what was that show, Sons of Anarchy stuff, but I do feel that there are different resources out there for you, Cancer, just if we've been feeling alone. It's just going to be a matter of putting ourselves out there, kind of stepping out of that comfort zone, getting out of that home space, Cancer, and just kind of seeing what it's like. But I also feel that with this, if there's been this more, maybe like a more kind of like internal divide, maybe we've been feeling like just like a lack of like emotional security, or maybe it's spiritual security, something, or maybe even something with the physical that might be going down here. Just like there feels like that there's like a divide within ourselves. I feel like, again, with the Queen of Pentacles, it's finding different resources and things to try to help heal this stuff, whether it was we're gauging in meditation, or if we need to journal, or maybe one way, Cancer, is going out for a ride, or maybe a drive or something like that. Anything to kind of help you get into that Zen space, to kind of reconnect you with yourself, kind of ask those more internal questions and reconnect with your higher self, your spirits and guides and things. And it's very interesting energy here, Cancer. But let me get things a little bit more on the Chariot here, Cancer. Let's get a little bit more on that. Okay. All right, Cancer. So the Chariot is clarified by the Five of Swords, the Death card, and then the Nine of Wands here. And it almost feels like that maybe for some we've been maybe in this state of, it's not necessarily like, it's almost like seeing, maybe we feel that we wish that we were more, You know, Cancer, if you've ever seen those people where it's just like that, they have a trait that you wish that you could embody. Like, let's say if you tend to be more on the shyer end, and you see, like, say we have like a friend, or we maybe work with someone who's just kind of like naturally just kind of vivacious, and just a social butterfly and things. I feel that it's I feel like instead of using that as a because sometimes when we do that, that can get into a place of where it puts us into a state of doubt when we start doing that comparison. It's like, oh, I'll never be like them, so like why even bother, why even go that route? And it's like, yeah, Cancer, you won't be like them, but that's the lovely thing, you'll be like you. And you got to find a way how extroversion looks on you, and it's going to be something I feel like with this Knight of Wands we're going to need to try it a couple times until it feels comfortable. You know what I mean? There's some times where there was I just got started doing like a little side gig, and I had been for a while been kind of working remote there, and then was doing the channeling things, and where it was kind of nice being on my own schedule, I had realized where there was like a need to kind of put myself out there every now and again, and is figuring out how that works for you, Cancer. Finding, I feel like there's this change that's going down here. And I don't feel like it's something that it needs to be like a drastic where we need to like go over the top, Cancer. I feel like it's like this death card feels like a little very light compared to when the death card comes through. It's just like more so kind of like taking little baby steps, like let's start like by going to a movie, and then maybe let's go to like a restaurant, like a cafe or something along those lines, and then maybe go into like a social gather, or maybe just something. I'm not quite sure, Cancer. Maybe even getting to like a hobby and finding out. Let's say if you like painting, for example, going to like a one of those, what they like, those art and wine nights or something like that, Cancer. But it's interesting too. I just thinking about that because the Hierophant being Taurus and the Death card being Scorpio, they're polar opposites. So it's like I feel like we're in this stuck kind of place where it's just like it's finding a balance here, Cancer, for or you're finding a balance here, Cancer, for sure, as far as like this need for being in our comfort zone, and like this need for change, doing the things that we know, and yeah, like and just kind of switching things up again. All right? All right, Cancer. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. I like that, Cancer. Interesting start here. And I like all this water energy that you're accumulating so far. Let's get some tea and let's see what some challenges. Man, I love when we always come through, Cancer. Alright, Cancer. Let's see what else we got here. Those lunar shenanigans. And Jupiter! What? Alright, Cancer. So some challenges. So you have the Three of Swords, you have the Five of Cups, the Moon, the Wheel of Fortune, and then the Eight of Wands here. And I almost feel like for some challenges, Cancer, this is very interesting. So for some, if we've been maybe kind of on back to that like that divide kind of standpoint here, there's wow, Cancer. Okay, so back with that divide thing, because it just kind of dawned on me too that you got all three of the water signs out here, Cancer. You got our card to Chariots, Death card Scorpio, and the Moon is Pisces, and I feel like for some, with that sense of divide or something along those lines, there's this energy here of it does feel like there's a sadness, or like there's this or there's something here I feel like we're trying to really kind of process here, really understand where this disconnect is happening, or what this shift maybe that's going on here, Cancer. And I feel like it's got us into this place where I was talking about with this cat last time. It's like when we're looking in the mirror, but in this instance, it feels like we're looking in the mirror. We don't even like recognize ourselves or something along those lines. It's really kind of interesting for some what might be coming through here, and it feels like with all the water signs, kind of the water major arcanas popping up here, it feels like that there's a need to kind of get into that sort of like intuitive space, Cancer, whether that be again meditation or doing some form of art, or just really kind of tuning into your feelings here and just find where this disconnect is, or why we may be feeling this sense, because maybe this is something, if it's not like a personal thing, it's just like maybe we are just feeling disconnected from our group, or feel like maybe things are changing or something along those lines. And I feel like that it's like there's something that's hidden here. But I feel like that it seems like with the Wheel of Fortune being here and like the Ace of Wands, Cancer, it feels like that if we're noticing that there's this sense of, let me get a little bit more on this Wheel of Fortune here, Cancer, because it feels like that something is like shrinking here, like. Okay, Cancer. So the Wheel of Fortune is clarified by the World, the Four of Cups, and then the Knight of Pentacles. And Cancer, I feel like this may just be a period where it feels like that we're just, maybe for some, it's just like we've been just kind of upset maybe with life, or maybe we've been intentionally disconnecting or something. We've been maybe feeling a lot of things, and it's just like, it's not something I feel like that we want to stay stuck in per se, but I feel like it's taking longer to get out of this funk, and it's starting to get to this place where we're almost feeling like upset with ourselves, possibly, Cancer. Maybe if this is not you, maybe this is someone maybe kind of close to us who we've noticed been kind of like pulling back or something, and we're trying to find out what's the source of this thing. It's very, very interesting here, Cancer, but I do feel like whatever this is, if this is a feeling that's going on right now, there's a need to, if we're worried that others are going to see our separation as a thing of like, oh, Cancer maybe is causing conflict, or Cancer's, that like that favorite line, Cancer's being emotional or something along those lines. I feel like that it may be, if we've been feeling this, Cancer, and we maybe feel that like maybe others are, I don't know, like are noticing this thing. I feel like communicating this one, just like being like, hey, I'm kind of going through a funk right now, just sort of, just kind of feeling these emotions out. Because the Four of Cups, this is the moon in Cancer, and where that is a very powerful placement. That can be one where, when caught in the feelings, it can be hard to get out of that cycle here and get stuck. So I feel like this is one where just maybe mentioning for some, or mentioning to our groups or whatever, it's just like, hey, yeah, again, like it's just been maybe kind of maybe a tough little birthday season, or whatever the reason may be, Cancer. And just say like, yeah, no, just like give me a little time, I'm just working this out, but I will know that there's nothing weird with us or anything along those lines. And because Cancer, I feel like sometimes too, with our sign being as sensitive as we are, we expect others to pick up on these things as well, because we can intuit when others are feeling off. It can be something where, yes, I mean, being a Cancer, of course I get that, but we got to be fair, Cancer, because not everyone does feel to the extent that we do, and sometimes it is something where we have to make these things known, and let others know that it's like, hey, because healing looks differently for everyone, just like we were talking about like the Five of Swords, but yeah, fascinating, Cancer. And then I also feel to, like when we were talking about if we're just like putting ourselves out there, socializing and things. I feel like that is one where it's like not forcing yourself, but taking it slow, but seeing where that would lead you. You know, I feel like that some something really positive I feel like could potentially happen here if we were to just get out of that, break out of that shell, Cancer, and just like kind of put ourselves out there. But and just one more thing, last thing, Cancer, with that, just like that divide, you know, both Saturn and Neptune are in Pisces, you know, in Pisces for until 2025. And I feel like this is we're in a very kind of spiritual time for Pisces in particular, but for the water signs, definitely. We're going to feel this energy more than the other signs. We'll all feel it, but you'll just get it a little bit more. And this is a great time to make that connection, especially since you got Saturn, the world, and the moon Pisces here. That this is in Cancer. I love that too. You got Jupiter and you got Taurus. I mean, I feel like a lot of this energies right now is thinking about that. This energy gives me kind of like a slow burn type of thing. You know, it's gonna take some work, like baby steps here, but it's gonna be worth it in the long run here. It's gonna be where we're gonna get to that state of abundance and get to that state of balance. But let's get some advice from Venus. There we go, Cancer. Now we're feeling vivacious, feeling all right. Look at that Queen of Wands popping through. Let's see, we got, Cancer. All right, we got Pluto. Let's see what's going down. Yeah. All right, Cancer. Last little bit here. Nice. Look at this, Cancer. A little change and we got it. So we got the Judgment card, the Three of Cups, the Page of Cups, the Ten of Cups, and then the Three of Wands here, Cancer. And let's switch back over. You see that little cup storm that came through here? Because I feel like with this energy here, Cancer, for some of you, I do feel that there is a need, just if we've been kind of keeping ourselves maybe kind of secluded or something along those lines. Getting out there and celebrate, Cancer. And this doesn't even be, Cancer, maybe we're not going out, but maybe we're doing something online, you know, maybe we're joining like a Zoom group or something along those lines, or whatever that's looking like, Cancer. But I feel like there are a lot of creative ways for you to get out there and to have some fun and to get that sense of fulfillment, especially if maybe we've been feeling that kind of social anxiety after, you know, everything that happened with COVID and everything along those lines really kind of changed the game up. But in the same time, it did change the game up as far as like how we connect with each other and things, you know, ways that we can have fun and just like get out there and be ourselves. But I do feel that there is, again, especially when you get like the Judgment with the Death card here, like there's for some others, because with Death card and Judgment, because the Judgment card is Pluto, and Pluto is one of Scorpio's rulers, and I feel like for some, whatever that sense of, if there's been feeling this disconnect, or if we've been feeling that maybe even there's been a lot of changes, I'm not sure if this is in like our social circle, or maybe there's even like changes within our families or something along those lines. This could be maybe someone who are getting married, or maybe there's kids involved, or a joining of places, you know, maybe going from, I'm not sure, but whatever this divide is, or whatever this sense of needing to come together, it feels like it's an energy, Cancer, that it may feel a little intense with this energy, whatever this shift may be. But I do feel like it's one where try to keep those spirits up. And I know that can be a lot to ask, but I feel like with the Queen of Swords, you see how she's conquered this dragon here. That's what I feel like this is. It just feels like right now, maybe for some, we're going through this adjustment period. But the nice thing that after the Judgment is the world. You know what I mean? We get to that end state, you know. We get our abundance, and then we start moving on to a new cycle here. But And that's another thing too, Cancer, with us being such a, being ruled by such a cyclical luminary, the moon. It's knowing that these states that we feel in, sometimes they're not going to last forever, Cancer, and there's going to be a lot of growth that's going to come from that. And I feel like it's, remember that Three of Cups, that Mercury and Cancer here, keeping that head and heart connection, make sure we're just kind of checking in with our feelings and things and making sense of that, Cancer. But I think I'm gonna lay that there, Cancer. Yeah, very cool reading. I like this, Cancer. But if you like that, or if anything resonated with it, give it a thumbs up. And share this, Cancer, if you know someone who's maybe been feeling kind of cut off, or maybe it's just been, just either kind of going through something, or even been wanting to feel like they wanted to get out more, Cancer. Definitely share this and subscribe. Tell all those people, hop on their bike, subscribe, hit that bell button, get notified. Now, well, maybe not hop on your bike and watch this, Cancer. You know what I mean. Subscribe. And then I'm on this meditation app, Insight Time. Let's keep it moving. And I started a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And invite all the water signs, Cancer. And it's just a place to post like positive affirmation, and Taurus, positive affirmations, encouraging messages, things along those lines. And then as the group grows, I'm going to start posting like different guided meditations by neural beats, ambient music, things along those lines, Cancer. Maybe gaining abundance with the Wheel of Fortune, or I don't know, Judgment Day. I don't know. I'll figure that out, Cancer. But definitely check that out. And then lastly, got all these planets here. Check your sun, your moon, your rising, your Jupiter, your Saturn, your Pluto. Fun fact, Cancer, you probably saw my thing. My my Pluto's in Scorpio. But check all that stuff out, Cancer. And then come on over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do videos weekly there. It's a good old time. I'm in the monthly spread right now. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get you surprise cards here, so I can get you out of here, Cancer. There's a little more cups for the way more Scorpio energy. You got the Knight of Cups here. And I feel like with the Knight of Cups popping in here, Cancer, I feel like the Knight of Cups, in this sense, let me get your Oracle card in a second. I almost feel like for some that there's a like a worry or something with this Knight of Cups here about maybe putting ourselves out there again, whether this be for like a relationship or just with friends or something along those lines. Maybe there's this fear, or maybe this lack of trust or something along those lines. Maybe we've been disappointed in the past with the Five of Cups, with maybe situations been hurt, but with the Three of Swords here, because the Knight of Cups is Scorpio energy, and Scorpio can be a very and I feel like it's not to be like malicious or anything, but they're known can be a secretive sign, because it's building that trust first. The more that you divulge, they will. They're gonna match you on that, and that's where I feel like, Cancer, that maybe for some it's like, instead of, I feel like it's not a worrying about putting yourself out there. It's just like, maybe it's just like matching others, just like maybe divulging a little bit at a time. Because listen, Cancer, I totally get that. Because like I'm a type that, I'll tell you all the tea. You ask me, but it's just like it's pulling back a little bit, especially if we've been noticing that there's been like we've been let down. But I feel like it's not like everyone does that, Cancer. It's and maybe that's what that is too. It's like we know that maybe there's this energy of generalization that's happening, but it's hard to make that shift sometimes, just on the off chance. But let's get your other card here. Interesting, which is the Lavender card. You got the 20th card, which is the Weaver, and this is ruled by Mercury here. And I feel like with this Lavender card, there is a need of I feel like there's a peace that's trying to be brought here, Cancer, or it's very interesting here, but I feel like it's if we stay in that thought process of that, people are going to betray us, or that people are going to let us down, or things along those lines. It's not that you're necessarily creating those energies, but that's kind of what we're attracting, Cancer. If we stay in that place of doubt, we got to be mindful of where our thoughts are at, and and the type of webs that we're weaving. You know what I mean? Because that's spiders. All they do is they build their web and then they wait. You know what I mean? And it seems like that there's this. If we want to just like attract more of that calm and trusting energy, it's one. If we've noticed that there has been a theme of that, what can we do to change that up? You know, what are the lessons that are in that? And then I feel like once we start working towards that stuff, we're going to be attracting the things that we want, Cancer, and then get stuck out of that cycle we found ourselves getting caught up in something. So I think I'm going to leave that there. So you stay safe out there. You know, we're getting out there socializing and things, Cancer, and keep eyes on the moon. Love this. Yeah, keep eyes on the moon, Cancer. Do a little meditation. Just kind of check where your thoughts are at and see if we can just make that connection again. Because that was very interesting energy that was coming through, Cancer. And I will catch you on the next one tomorrow.